Rosann, we've known each other for 3 decades.
Yes, a long time.
And you have been a professional counselor.
As you have been a professional counselor, how many people have we known in Hong Kong?
Yes, quite a lot.
So many different people.
And so many changes.
And that's why we want to think about women now and women then, and how women have changed over these years.
That must be very interesting.
Yes.
And it covered different generations.
Always.
Well, if they're interested in what we are talking about, how are they going to find us?
You're going to find us Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, PsychoAlchemy. We are Women Now and Then.
See you there.
Hello, everyone. You heard last week that we're going to be talking about men this week. For the first 6 sessions, we talked about women, our identity, our bodies, our health, our money, and moms. We did a lot. We spent a lot of time on moms. They're so important. Last week we talked about dads, about fathers and fathering. Now we're on to men, that marvelous topic. It's the mystery in women's lives. How do we understand or not understand men? There's the men we've liked, the men we've loved, the men we've lived with, the men we married, the men we divorced. And from each man, we learn a little bit more about men in general. And some of our conclusions are, it's wonderful as adult women. It's wonderful to have a man you love. And there are some of us who like having more than one man at a time. And then when you want to talk about how men are, don't talk to men. Talk to your girlfriends. Talk to your girlfriends. Dorothy, the men we have loved, depends on what stage of life you're in.
Yes.
What's going on with you? What is this attraction? Because sometimes when people hear the word relationship, they narrow it to one man and that one relationship. When actually, we're talking about how we feel, how the individual woman feels about her own stage in life and the setting in which she finds herself. That goes very far to explaining why she's interested in some men more than others, or why one particular man. Dorothy, want to talk about our attraction and attachment to one man or men in general? Where would you like to start? Happy memory.
Well, happy, not much. Well, well, I think it's a pretty big learning experience.
Oh, yes.
Having a boyfriend or having a husband, or maybe having different kind of male friends. Men is so different from women in the sense that it create a lot of curiosity in me.
Yes.
As you know, I went to a all girls school.
Yes.
So you can imagine, we are like wild animals being trapped for such a long time. So the moment I managed to get out of my high school and go to United States for my university education, immediately the world opened up to me. Right. So I think to me, man is someone that I always find it fascinating. Especially if they are equally interested in you, they will give you so much attention.
Yes, the attention is grand.
Right. And I think that's why no matter how painful the relationship might turn out to be, well, I always manage to say, it's going to be okay. Next time, next round, I'm going to bump into someone better. And I think my experience with men is that they are not that good in maintaining a relationship. Sometimes some of them cannot even continue a conversation. So maybe that's why it's so attractive, as if I need to do a lot of things. But that will create another problem, is because I have invested so much of my energy on that person, maybe I'm being fooled. I think I really like him a lot. It's just because I've put so much energy into discovering who he is. By doing that, I raise a lot of questions and let him talk about himself. So as we all know, we all love to talk about ourselves.
Absolutely.
So when I have put so much attention to that guy and let him talk so much about himself, he felt so good about himself. He felt that it's because of me. It's only because he loved talking about himself. And at that time, and most of the time, as a counselor and also as a woman, I think we are more attentive. So especially if I find him interesting, I will put in a lot of focus. So in by doing that, I actually might create maybe a not too accurate experience in him, thinking that, oh, this woman must think that I'm very perfect, and that's why he asked me so many questions. So I'm a little bit worried at thinking about it. Is it really I'm in love with this guy, so I want to spend so much time with him, or I'm just in love with this loving process, this discovery, this flirting and all that. So I don't know. Men, to me, even now I'm approaching 60, I still have no idea. I don't know how to work with them in a way that he felt comfortable, and I feel comfortable at the same time. I sometimes thought that when I was younger, I have too many tricks or maybe little things that try to pull him, get him into my side in order to attract him. But then I realized all this push-pull game is not a healthy relationship kind of thing. So after a while, I will stop doing all this, and then the man will say, how come you change? But actually, I think maybe at the beginning, I worked too hard. And then maybe during the halfway, I sort of relax a little bit. And sometimes the man will say, oh, so you're not interested anymore. So maybe that's something I need to learn. I still need to learn.
But we talk about our relationships at the time in our life because we have different needs
at different times,
at different stages.
True
20-year-olds versus 30-year-olds versus 50-year-olds versus, and on we go.
Well, 20 something, I think the whole intention is to attract a man.
Attraction.
To get him.
The whole culture is about women dressing, women acting, women singing. It's about attraction. And it's more about getting high on sex. That wonderful sexual experience that happens early 20s, right into the 30s, into the 40s maybe. But my favorite kind of client, I've told you about them before, the ones who are 29 to 32. Those wonderful, I call them young women, but they feel they're getting old. Where, let's call her Dolores. And the story goes on. She's been living with a guy, see, not commitment to marriage, been living with a guy. He gets a job somewhere else. London, KL, inside China. And he says, do you want to come? And Dolores comes to see me, and she says, he didn't ask me to marry him. I'm 30 years old. Doesn't he know that I want to have children? So I go, okay, Dolores, there's the man, there's you. You want to have children. What have you said to him? Well, how can I say anything to him? He's gotten this new job offer. He wants to go. And he said, would you like to come? So I said, and what did you want? I want him to say, will you marry me? So I say, Dolores, why don't you go and talk to him? Why don't you just sort of find a place and a time when there's no work and there's no video around, put the phones away, and let's look at George and say, George, look, what do you want? And Dolores says to me, you do that? So they did that. They did that. Dolores comes back 10 days later and she says, Rosann, he said he wants to go to Shanghai. He's never worked there before. If I want, I can come along. So I said George, I've been living with you for 4 years. What about us? And he goes, what about us, Dolores? What about us? So Dolores says, how can men think so differently? The question goes on.
Yeah.
The question goes on. How can men think
So
differently?
Yeah.
But let's just, so you have a little bit of comparison.
Yes.
Let's talk about Maggie.
Okay.
Maggie is 53, so she's past menopause. So we meet, and we're at some organization, you know, that she's originally from Australia, but now she's working in Hong Kong, and she's also been to New York, and she's a very successful woman who has never been married.
Okay.
So 3 or 4 of us in a conversation say, well, do you miss being married? Maggie says, no, not at all. Then she says, do you mean, do I miss sex? So, well, yeah. And she goes, no, don't you have somebody that you can have sex with? And I go, no, I don't have that kind of a relation. She said, well, it's pretty easy. You know, this is the modern, middle-class, white woman who's traveled around the world says, put it to a guy. You don't want a relationship. That means love and commitment. You just want sex. And he might be happily relieved to know, here's a 53-year-old woman who looks great, who is articulate, who has a fun life. I'd like to see her. And I go, well, how do you figure that out? She says, well, when I'm in town, I call him and I say I'm in town. Dinner usually means dinner and sex. But if he's only got Saturday afternoon, then it's just sex. So I say, do you articulate? Do you say aloud? And she says to me, Rosann, why not? If women want sex, they can ask for sex. Now you compare that to Dolores, who she's 20 some years younger.
Right.
She wants so much for that. I'm tempted to say the fairy tale picture of the house with the kids, and she's had the baby and he's being attentive. That's not the way women are thinking these days. But how do they even get to those questions with men? So I ask them, and then they tell me what's been happening with men. But men will say, okay, 32-year-old, beautiful, great guy, beautifully trained engineer, working in agricultural mechanization, but computerized agricultural work. And he's from Malaysia. He's in Hong Kong, going to be working in China. And he says to me, I'd really like to find one girl. I want to get married. I'm 32. I want a woman who will be there for me.
Willing to settle down.
I want a woman who I would like her to be the person in my life. And I go, so Joe, well, have you said this? And he goes, how do you know when you meet a working woman? And all the women I meet these days are working. They're all talking about careers. Rosann, how do I know when I will find the woman for me? I said, Joe, you got to be a little bit articulate with women. Say it up front. He says, oh yeah. And they're looking at me thinking, what's wrong with this guy? So I think some of our men are confused. I give these examples because the vibrations that women give off confuse men. But what do women want? Dolores wants to get married. Maggie does not want to get married, or at least she says so right now, but she openly wants sex. And here's this really sweet guy who's trying to find a girl to marry, not a girl to have sex with. In our day and age, there are 2 separate activities. Having sex with someone and loving, which we said is a process.
Yes.
That is a process. So I feel a bit sorry for guys these days.
very confusing. Huh?
Yeah, well, you have 2 young nephews.
Yeah.
They must be thinking about getting
Oh,
married.
yeah.
Yeah.
The elder one is going to get married by the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the commitment is there. But I can see, because I've been counseling a lot of teenagers, now
Oh,
they
yeah.
become 20-something, some of them are already reached the marriage age. Actually, I think a lot of men these days, my experience in Hong Kong, there are so many options. As you said,
Yes.
because the women are not that fixed on, I must get married before 30, and there are some women are still looking around, and they are sure that they can find someone, so they can still wait. So for some men, there are always some men that are more domestic, right? Willing to settle down, want to have a family in order the next process after the marriage, maybe he will work hard on his career, right? For some of the men, they feel very confusing. And sometimes when they come to see me, actually I was surprised. It's the men who want to settle down, and the girlfriend is the one who want to just
Wow,
okay,
yeah.
we are still young. Why can't we still look around, right? And I recently had a very interesting case. It's a mixed marriage. An Asian man would marry a Australian woman, and she told me a story, and I think it's fascinating. When the Asian man first met up with this woman, he already felt that she's so outgoing, so unlike the typical Asian girl, right? So he start, focusing all his energy on her. So he will ask her out, and she said, is it because of the language barrier? When the man first asked him out, he said, are you willing to go out with me? And the Australian girl said, sure, why not? But
Yes.
the Asian man was thinking of going out means, are you going to go out with me, just me?
Oh.
And that was like the first 10 days.
Really?
He already think that is a serious relationship. But where's the girl, well, oh, I can go out with you. So the thing is, after maybe 6 months or so, they are studying both. They were both studying in Australia, so it's so easy for the girl. Hey, why don't you come to my family, my home, right, for dinner or whatever? Because they are more open-minded. And the girl told me her parents met with all the guys.
Yes.
She dated ever since
yes.
she was 12, right?
Yes.
So now she's a college,
Thank you.
university student. Oh, it's no problem. But then one day, the Asian guy was so polite and said, I'm going back to my hometown next month. Would you like to go with me? And to her, is sure, why not? Never been to this Asian country.
Yes.
I should definitely
It's
go
a
with you.
Travel trip.
Yes,
Yes.
a travel trip.
Yeah, just go.
But
Just go.
without knowing, it's such a serious thing for the man.
Oh,
And the
yes.
man is actually bringing his future wife.
Right, that would be how he would feel.
Right.
I'm bringing her, and you all take a look.
Right. So it's so
Oh.
funny when you said that your cases are people seem to be more open-minded, more willing to try different relationship. I was so surprised, and this guy's only 28. They got
Oh
married
my.
at 24.
Oh my
After
goodness.
going back to the country, and they feel pretty good. And then the man had a very good job offer, like the story you told.
Oh, the one to Shanghai.
Yeah,
really
yeah,
wanted
right.
To go
He
there.
had a very good job offer, and the man just said, "Want to join me to the new country?" And the girl said, "Why not?" And he said, "I mean, we have to get married, because otherwise, if you go there, you need a visa. You might not be." That might not be easy,
Exactly,
but I
exactly.
have a work permit. I can apply. And the girl was shocked.
Oh.
And because, and you so open-minded. And then after struggling maybe for 24 hours, and she decided, why not? And they got married.
Wow.
But you can imagine, I'm telling you this story because they are coming to see me as a counselor. Now,
Oh.
after 4 years, the girl said, oh my God, why am I involved in such a difficult situation, right? Because to her, it's like, well, something new. I want to
That's
try,
right.
right? But the
That's right.
man was like so committed to the marriage. So
Yes.
when you told me that your story just now, I was thinking my story, and I have to agree. Men today is so difficult to decide what to do.
Oh.
If you go for a traditional version and you met up with this open-minded Western education woman, and you were like, huh? And if vice versa, if the men are more open-minded and not proposing,
Yes.
and the woman will complain, wow, you are not committing to a
That's right.
relationship.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all of this
Yes,
happening now
yes.
with men. So many differences. We'll come back and do a few case studies.
Yes.
Okay.